All right, welcome to Wednesday, May 6th, Kiwanis of Michigan Lieutenant Governor Training. We'll welcome everyone to our meeting and start with Governor Fran. Any comments?
Oh, I just hope you all enjoyed the nice day because it's going to get colder again.
It is. Larry was saying they're supposed to get snow up north, so let's keep our fingers crossed that it stays
Up north.
up north.
Yeah.
Although I wouldn't mind some, it's okay. It's all right.
I think it's here to stay.
What
Yeah.
does Dick have to say about that?
Yeah, well, I'm
snow
up
down
north.
here?
So, Dick, what do you think about that?
Well, it's not unusual. I mean, I can remember having snowstorms in mid-April and sometimes May or June sometimes.
So we're all.
If it snows, gets real cold, it'll probably kill the murder hornets. So that'll be great.
Yeah, hopefully.
I was hoping that's what hit yesterday. Down in my area, we had 10,000 people without power yesterday, and there was a
Really?
substation that had problems, and I was like, it must be the murder hornets. That was I was blaming it on them. Normally it's squirrels, right? You blame it on something. So
Yeah.
okay, so tonight we're going to talk about district committees. I have a short presentation for us. I'm going to go ahead and mute everyone just to keep things
Good. That way my
going, but you can unmute yourself if you have any questions or anything along the way. I'm going to go back to what Brian presented to us the last couple of meetings and talking about the quick review with Art Riley being our Kiwanis president, Fran being the governor, Greg Smith and David Hurlbrink, or Greg Smith, our director. David Hurlbrink will be the new international trustee that's assigned to the Michigan district. Of course, Brian Tenslinger is available as our area director. And then, of course, our class of governors, the 2021 Lieutenant Governor class, the district board, and the committee chairs. And I think that there's a great opportunity to use our committee chairs at the district level. Some committee chairs have committees, and some of them are one person, but I think there's opportunities for us at all levels of the organization to use them. And seeing that with them in red on the screen, they really can be really helpful to you and to your club presidents as we move forward. So the Michigan district has a number of district committee chairs, and these are appointed by the governor. Fran has been in the process of finalizing these committee appointments over the last several months. We still have a few vacancies along the way, and I know there was an article in the Michigan Builder talking about that. And if you happen to see one of these positions open and you think you might have an idea of an individual that could serve us well, please get a hold of Fran. We can always use great people. And when you are done with your term on the district board, know that these are positions that are open to you along the way. It's a matter of expressing some interest, or someone will say, hey, would you like to come along and join us? And there's also individuals that serve on those committees in several areas that can help along the way. So there's always a place for you in future leadership within the organization, whether it's as a chair, as a member of the chair, or as the governor of the organization. So on the list of committees, and these names and contact information is on the lieutenant governor roster that is in the Dropbox. So the first tab has all the lieutenant governor information in it. The second tab has all the district committee chair information in it. It's all in that Excel document. So we try to keep all of that together and up to date as long as we go. So as you have made changes with Fran, that's very helpful for us, and then we'll keep that information up to date for you as well. That information will eventually be transferred to the district directory that will come out of the district office in October. But we'll keep that other list going just for our own use and contact information. So the committees that are in bold on this document are committees that are standing committees that Kiwanis International has determined are important to the success of our organization. And the other committees are committees that the governor, some of them are established by the Michigan district, some of them are established by the governor, which you'll see in a later slide. So our first district chair is bylaws, policies, and resolutions. So of course, the governance of our organization, Liz Peters has been the chair of that committee for several years. And that's the committee that overlooks what our bylaws are, what our policies are, and also helps put together resolutions for the district convention typically resolutions of support or resolutions acknowledging the death of someone in Kiwanis. And then again, where our policies are and where our bylaws are. And I know there's been quite a bit of work done the last couple of years on separating what is bylaws and what is policies, because a lot of times they were all mixed together. So both the bylaws and the policies documents are available on the Michigan Kiwanis website, michigankiwanis.org, under resources and under governance. So those bylaws actually will actually flow up to the Kiwanis International bylaws, and again would flow down to the club bylaws. Robert's Rules of Order always is the governing body that we function under. Sarah will serve as the finance chair next year. In the Kiwanis leadership order, when you, as the immediate past governor, you serve as the finance chair. So Sarah will work with her finance committee. There is a finance committee. There are several members appointed that work that are not on the board that help with that finance. And Greg, if you would unmute yourself and share those names. I didn't have them handy with me when I put
The
them.
finance committee is the immediate past governor, the governor-elect, myself, and then there's two other people that we have, and they traditionally have been the like a CPA or finance person. So this year it's Steve Witt, Roger. Is it Ram or Ram? Larry, you're muted.
It's Ram.
Roger Ram.
Roger
And so,
Ram.
yeah, so those two, and then they I don't know, Fran, if you've talked to them and they've elected to continue on, Roger and Steve, but the other three are established by the, actually there's six total. I mean, it's the immediate past governor, governor-elect, myself, and then the two people from the finance, the other two people.
So they're the group that puts together the district budget from year to year, and Steve is the one that typically you hear putting together the report for the board meetings where the finances are, and then the reports at the district convention. So that committee functions to keep the finances of our organization together. Again, this year, Melissa, or I should say that Governor Fran has appointed a fund committee, Melissa Robing and Julianne Williams. Julianne is a lieutenant governor on this current board, and they will work on things that keep us fun in what is going on. And I've asked them to do a workshop at convention as well about how do we add the fun back in, or continue to add fun into our meetings and what we do as a Kiwanis organization. Frank Palazzolo will lead us in fundraising this next year, and I would bet that he has been challenged to figure out how to raise funds for us. What we can do from a non-dues component of our organization to raise money so that we're not continually asking our members for money and that our dues do not go up. But what can he do to help build opportunities for us as an organization to raise funds? In addition to that, helping our clubs raise funds and helping our clubs look at projects that they might be doing to raise funds within their own community. And I know that'll be a huge task as we move into being back into the public in our normal meetings, or what were our normal meetings, because a lot of our clubs have lost fundraising opportunities or will be losing fundraising opportunities from some of their biggest projects this year. So that will be a task for Frank to help clubs determine what projects, or for him to give ideas on projects that could be available. Ken Hines will continue in human and spiritual values. And one of the things that I know that we have had available in the past are the guidebooks that we make available to our clubs. And I want you to know that I found some really old copies. You can tell these are old because this one still has the bird cages we call it. So does this one. And this one I know is probably from many, 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 many years ago. I was going through some files today. I'm like, wow, these are great things. But our goal with human and spiritual values is for the opportunity for Ken to share things that our clubs may do in the area of inspiration, in the area of realizing this is one of our core values of our organization, to give primacy to the human and spiritual values of who we are in Kiwanis.
He also coordinates the Salvation Army bell ringing.
Correct. So Ken will also manage he coordinates that and makes those presentations, but also has the communication, and will be getting that communication out to everyone for the district. Of course, leadership development education, you're well informed of what that is. I am working on and have been working on our club leadership education components. And as well, I work on the workshops for the district conventions. And if the possibility of us holding a fall conference, depending on where things are, is an opportunity of ways that we can provide education for our club members and for our clubs. And whether we can, how do we do some more options with the way life is, but we all have so many commitments. Can we continue to put new sessions online that people can go watch and learn things from? Linda Page will serve again in the partnership role, and Linda works with the partners that we have here in the Michigan district, but also the partners that Kiwanis International has. So Greg, I'm going to pick on you again. If you would talk to us a little bit about some of the partnerships that we have here in Michigan.
Yeah, one of the things that we've been trying to do is we view kind of like non-dues revenue and partnerships a little bit together. There's two kinds of partners. There's partners that will help us get us some additional money, such as the Office Depot card, and there's been some other efforts in that area. There's service partners as well. Service partners such as Kids Coalition Against Hunger, Fellowship of Christian Athletes, the Law Enforcement Academy, entities that we for a couple years we had the Sunnycrest Youth Ranch. So we're always looking. Linda's always looking for opportunities where we can partner with entities that could do a couple things. One is, can we do more service throughout the state that benefits kids? And rather than each of us inventing the wheel, we can partner with an organization that's maybe already doing some of that to make both organizations stronger, but also to help create Kiwanis awareness by partnering with these other organizations, helping them become aware of what we do, and then that could drive membership, it can drive more service and impact in the community. So anything that you see that you think would make a good partner for us in the district, please get that information to Linda as well. And there's a list of those on the district website. There's a service partner and community partner, and there's a list of those partners that are on that website.
And another one of our partnerships that we have is our partnership with JCI in Junior Chamber. That is also a partnership that was established actually the year I was president with Scott Greenlee, who's on right now. When Scott and I met in Leipzig, Germany, I think is where we met, and got connected there. And he happened to be, the fact that he lived in Lansing was quite convenient for me. But we have been working on that partnership and that relationship with JCI for about 5 years now. So that's also a partnership. But as Greg said, if there's someone there that you think we can connect with, whether financially or just for good efforts to improve our communities, there's a great opportunity there. David Goodwin will continue on in risk management, and I would bet that you all know that risk management involves insurance and the what we have as an organization for our members, and making sure that we are not doing anything that would put anybody at harm or at risk. Insurance changes constantly, and I know there's some changes in the insurance coming up with auto. Here in Michigan, I believe it starts July 1. So just keeping us informed on changes in that regard, and making sure that if a club needs the binder, is it called the, I can't think of the name of the document, but if they need something to show they're insured by Kiwanis International when they do a project. Greg, I see you.
The additional insured. Yeah,
initial insured. Our colleague Jen Romanowski, who's on with us tonight as a lieutenant governor, serves as our strategic planning chair. And Jen, I'm going to pick on you. If you would like to tell us what you're working on. We know you have a presentation coming up, but what do you see as your goal as a member of the committee, as a committee chair?
So Fran and I have had a couple of conversations. It's pretty similar to my role with Sarah last year. It's helping to define what, the goals are, what we're going to do to try to achieve those goals. I've also talked with Fran a little bit about how, being my second year around, you learn some things. And so a lot of feedback from some of the other folks within other district chairs around the goals this past year. And that was really like a bit of, hey, we might have bitten off more than we could chew. And so, trying to really pick the key one, maybe two things that we're trying to accomplish towards each of the areas that are aligned to the goal. So that's really it, just kind of keeping us aligned, keeping us on track. And then, obviously checking in with Fran and helping to, kind of hold her accountable of, hey, we've got this goal. Is it still good? Are we still moving forward? So on and so forth. So that's, my work for the year is really now, right? So Fran and I started working in January. So we do all of that. And then I'm there just kind of to help, I believe also with the transition to the next year.
Right. So Jen will give us a review of strategic planning here in a couple of weeks, I believe, about what our plan looks like and how we continue to move forward with that. Thanks, Jen. Stan Nelson, who is from Alpena, who's a past governor, will serve as our chair of the steering committee. And the steering committee is composed of Stan and several past governors and people that have served on international committees or served as international committees or international board members. And this is the group that typically takes a look at all of our candidates, takes a look for international office, takes a look at the amendments that come before the House to see what we think of them and to see whether we can in advance see potential challenges with that area and things that may or may not, impact the Michigan district for good or for bad. Just as a way for us to keep in touch with what's going on at Kiwanis International and maintain that communication with them. So we can help advise the district, our delegates, when they go to conventions, specifically at international convention. Of course, we never say you should vote this way or that way, but we can give both the pros and the cons and the good and the bad about something and help our members make a decision based on the information that we can provide after talking with our peers in other districts. And then for the committees, or for the candidates, we do the same thing. Many of us have communication and contact with those candidates, and we can make recommendations on things that they bring to the table that may be very good for the organization, or things that we may have, some not as much as a concern, but something that might just raise a stake and say, yeah, we want to think about that. So we work with that, and that steering committee meets typically once a year at this point, if we need to do any of that. So
Sue,
Greg.
The steering committee also can have responsibility for finding people and helping to vet and endorse people that want to run for international office.
Right. That was
such as Linda Lothar is this year, but you may want to, maybe Sue, you could talk about what their role was when you ran.
So the I see a chat coming in here. The role of the committee is that committee typically has connections, and I want to say their fingers in things that they know what's going on in Kiwanis International on a global level, because many of those people have served as governor or served on an international perspective. So for me at that time, and what we will do for Linda is that we'll help prepare me for the role of running for an international trustee. These are the things that we'll be concerned about. These are the things that we see that we should focus on. These are things you want to stay away from, but more of a way for us to provide information for Linda. And we will also be the group that will talk to our peers in the other districts as a way to say, hey, we have a candidate for international office. This is someone we want you to take a look at. Let us answer any questions that we may have for you or you have for us, but is a way to keep that communication. And, this is what Linda has done in these areas. This is what she's done in these areas. And very much the group that helped communicate to the other districts, and then kind of led our campaign efforts when we got to the district conventions. I'm sorry, the international convention. So the paperwork, the mailings and that type of stuff, but how can we help prepare that person so that when they move forward, our goal always is when we run a person for international office is the long-term goal is that they are eligible to run for president. We want to make sure that person is prepared for that opportunity to run for president if they so wish to do that. Our membership team will be led by Larry Member. Larry, are you making faces? So I'm going to ask Larry to unmute himself while I do a quick introduction. That you all know Larry and the work that he's done with our club and membership growth over the last couple of years, and the way he is respected around Kiwanis International. And Larry has built himself a team of members that will help with growth, opening clubs, and membership. So Larry?
Yes. I guess we've kind of renamed it with Fran's leadership to be a growth membership position with the overall look at how do we grow our memberships, not only by new clubs, but primarily by adding members to our existing clubs. I think it's going to be a huge, we have three sessions coming up later about this more specifically, but it's going to be a bigger test for us coming out of this Nova pandemic of what's going to happen with some of our members who may not continue for various reasons. It could be financial or other reasons too. So it's going to be a bigger challenge as to look at our growth of our existing clubs. And so there's a number of different ways that we can look at that, and we'll talk about those more later. Sue Devon, who is Lieutenant Governor for Division 16, probably has done the most as far as opening or working with clubs in her division. She's had more division membership activities than anybody. So she's going to be more working with me more on when we decide how many clubs are going to open. And I think Fran already has a number assigned to her, but we'll do that. And Cindy, who is currently a membership chair, will continue to do that, and her focus will be more about membership growth in existing clubs. So she'll be doing more work on that and not so much on opening any new clubs. And then Linda Lother is also going to be helping as far as getting coaches and people to work with clubs that are in trouble from a coaching standpoint. So that's kind of what the team is. And also Bruce Race, who did a lot of work last year in opening clubs, is also going to be on the team, and he's probably going to work more on the club opening side than the membership guy, because that's what he likes to do. So that's
Thanks,
kind
Larry.
of.
We will, I'll update our chart here put those names on there, and then we know that you have several sessions coming up, I think in July, as a matter of fact. Our Kiwanis Children's Fund representative, Serena Dawson, works with Jeremy Grinslade from the Kiwanis International, or the Kiwanis Children's Fund, for providing materials and promoting the Kiwanis Children's Fund and the opportunities that are available for that. Jeremy will actually be with us in a couple of weeks. Actually, a week from tonight, Jeremy will be with us to make a presentation on the Children's Fund, and I know that Serena will be with him at that point. On Sunday, Ron Hagan, the current president of the Kiwanis Michigan Foundation, will be presenting to us on what the Michigan Foundation is doing and how our clubs can help support that, and how you as lieutenant governors can do that support as well. And I just emailed with him earlier this evening, and he's getting his stuff prepared and the presentation he wants to put together. There will be a couple other members from his board with us. Club websites. Preston Abity has accepted the role of working with our clubs who wish to move into the new websites that are available to them through Kiwanis International. We currently have 2 sessions scheduled for the Kiwanis International, or the Kiwanis District Convention in Flint, that we're going to open up like 12 seats in each space, each room, which may have to change now given everything that's going on, but that a club can set up get their initial work done, and that he and several other members that he is working with will be able to come in and help you as a club set up your club website. So using WordPress, the new system that Kiwanis International has established, which is very easy and simple to use, and putting that together Preston will help clubs focus on getting their club websites up and going from the old system or from no system to the new system that we have that many clubs are currently on. The district website, we're looking for a district website master to work on the district website to help maintain that component. Greg, anything you want to add on that? Except that you would like to find someone.
Yeah, it's as I said last time, we'd like to have somebody more familiar that can focus on that. I'm good at putting content in. I'm not good at making things look pretty, and so or you know how to set it up. So any help we can get would be appreciated.
Perfect. Okay, I kind of put all this group together, our service leadership programs. The Circle K Administrator Lori Stillwell, who's on here, our Key Club Administrator Audrey Salisbury, Builders Club and K Kids are vacant. Our Action Club Administrator Pam Huffman and our Key Leader Representative Coordinator Carol Abity. So this is the group of individuals that manage basically our largest and our best service program that we have is our service leadership programs, working with our students from elementary school all the way up through college, and then our Action Club members. So this group of leaders helps us manage all of our youth programs, and we actually have Michelle Studi Campbell will be back with us, or will be with us next week or a couple weeks to talk to us about what her office does as the executive director of the Kiwanis Youth Program. So she will be there with us, and then we'll talk with these individuals. These individuals will also have a couple 3-hour blocks or 3-hour block at the district convention where they can share information with you about how that you can either help charter a club, how you can help support your club in any form or fashion that you are interested. Again, we have 2 vacancies as an administrator for the Builders Club and an administrator for the K Kids. We are looking for someone that can help work with those groups. Builders Clubs and K Kids have a different level of, they're basically local organizations. They don't have like Key Club and Circle K with their state level groups, their boards, but looking for someone that can help us build those relationships with our schools and help a Kiwanis club who may be interested start a Builders Club or a K Kids. Greg?
Yeah, we considered these programs in Michigan so important to Kiwanis success that several years ago we designated a portion of the club of each member's dues to go toward these supporting the people that are helping with these programs. So $4 of your $44 district dues go right into service leadership, and it's earmarked, and it has to be used for that exclusively.
So yeah, these are programs that are very valuable, and you know, I look at some of the I've been watching some of the students that are graduating from college or high school now that are involved in those groups, and it's just amazing to see the success that they have and the success we know that they will have. Our youth protection manager, Richard Hitch, I kind of put that in there because that's his role as the youth protection manager. For those of you that were able to participate in our youth protection program with Michelle a couple of weeks ago, we have, you know, new procedures, and there's new ways that we have to operate as an organization to keep our youth and to keep ourselves and our organization protected. And we have that PowerPoint presentation is available for us to look at. Michelle will be with us again as well in a couple of weeks to talk about any concerns that you may have or any issues or questions that you have as far as making sure that our members have their background checks to be able to participate with our youth programs. Governor Fran has broke up some of our marketing area as well. I know Jen and her worked on this. Currently, we are looking for someone who is interested in working with our marketing components of the Michigan District and will help with our social media for the Michigan District. Barb Duran has accepted and stepped into the public relations role. And if you follow the Michigan District on Facebook at this point, and I know I just got a message from her to join LinkedIn, the LinkedIn group, but Barb is very active in making sure that information is posted about our clubs, what the clubs are doing, recognizing members, opportunities for things that our clubs can do. So maintaining that public relations. We know that most of our communication, and is an area that we've got to maintain to keep things going, and to have some dedicated individuals, both in social media and in marketing and PR, work on that would be a wonderful opportunity, because there's no better way for us to advertise our organization than to do this type of activities, and we need some consistency in that area. Fran or Jen, did you want to add on to that?
The only thing that I'll say, just because to be very clear, marketing can be a very broad term. So it intentionally, it's kind of broad, but it's more so, this is really focused around any of the advertising efforts. We have spent some dollars this year advertising. We're seeing results with it. And measuring the dollars spent towards what we're getting. Some of those results will come in the next couple of months, but this is really kind of not just somebody that wants to communicate. This is somebody that knows or has a little bit of interest or experience from a marketing advertising perspective.
Okay.
I give a couple examples of something that's happened that we never really did before. Is that the tax fund where you can check the box and we can benefit Kiwanis. We're actually doing some Facebook advertising for that, and we did some blip boards, and Jen can explain what a blip board is for that, to help to the general public, let them know that we're out there as a way to get additional money for the tax fund. And also another thing we're in the process of doing is promoting the Office Depot Office Max card as a way of getting additional revenue too. And so Jen, you may want to talk about a couple of those efforts related to that as an example of things we're looking to do differently than we've done before.
Yeah, Facebook is a really great way to advertise. They've got a super easy platform. So Greg is correct. Those are two things that are running right now. The people that we try to target for the tax is going to be Michigan residents only. But the Office Depot will go nationwide. So it's potentially displaying to anybody. They're really simple. And we can measure and see like how much traffic we're creating, and we'll compare afterwards when we see the dollars that come into it as well. It's not a tremendous amount of money, but it is enough to get some traffic and visibility. The other thing that Greg mentioned was blip boards. So if you've ever been driving around and you've seen the billboards, the digital ones that'll flip as you're going to drive by, some of them are going to be owned by a company that's called blip boards that make it really easy to go online, and you can upload your billboard ad and select the billboards that you want and say how much money to spend, and it'll you can even say only show them during dinner time, when people are driving home from work. You could say show them late at night because whatever I'm trying to sell is for insomniacs that drive around, whatever. But makes it super easy. But that's another idea. These are a couple of them that I know I had brought to the district, but that's what we're looking for, is to somebody to step into the marketing role and come up with things like that. To find ways to get specifically these revenue generating opportunities, right? That's a very common place that what a business will do is they're like, oh, well, I want to bring in $100,000. I'm willing to spend $50,000 to do that. That's a very common 2 to 1. I'll spend money and expect to bring in twice as much back. So that's an example of some of the stuff that we're doing. And if you see them, if you're on Facebook or anything like that, they may pop for you. So that's why they're intentional, and that's why you're seeing them.
Thank you, Fran.
Also, we're trying to make this committee be a bigger committee, more people, not just one person in charge of everything.
Yeah.
I mean, one person can't do the PR, the blog, the website, the Facebook, so we're trying to get other people to be part, just, if they really like working on blogs or they really like working on the website, and then the person that's the marketing chair would be responsible. They'd all work together. So that's why we're trying to break this down, so it won't be such a overpowering job for one person.
Yeah, because it is a lot. And right now, I'll put it out there. Barb has been tackling a lot of the social media stuff. And then, you know, I've picked up the advertising side, and you know, frankly, one of the areas that I know Barb hasn't spent a lot of time in, though she's been touching, is that public relations. And talk about a low cost way to get your name out there. There is no better marketing tactic than making the relationships with your communities and the press in your community, and getting that story out there, because it has such a feel good. Belleville is a great example right now, right? If you saw that, so you know, it's a big deal, and it takes, when we look at the numbers. And Brian, I think, what was it, not last week, the week before, maybe it was last week, when you showed, I think Brian was on, the trends where we're seeing, right? How do people move trends, right? Sure, all of us can put our feet on the ground and start trying to, you know, go ahead and open these clubs and, you know, work with existing clubs and stuff like that. But that's just us. These are individual bodies. The way that we really move that needle and move those numbers consistently is by having a strong marketing strategy and plan every single year. And it's going to take a team of volunteers, let's be real, to make that happen, not just one person.
Right.
So
thank you, Jen. Thank you, Fran.
Mhm.
And I am talking with Barb about doing a Kiwanis Let's Talk on a Thursday night coming up soon. So we're working on that. And then we also have several members of Kiwanis International staff who will be joining us in the future to talk about, let's see, I'm trying to find our things here. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, oh my. And the other one we'll talk about promoting Kiwanis International, and then Barb's going to do one on communicating within your club. So we have added additional time to our, additional subjects to our training this year that we may not have had in the past, but to make those available. And again, Jen's a great person to work with on the marketing, and we thank her for the work that she's doing, helping us kind of move the needle, as we like to say. District conventions. District Convention 2022.
That should be 2021.
2021, you're right. I just realized I'm far ahead than I should be. 2021 will be Preston Abity and Renee Callery. They will be working on the convention for that. And then on to conventions. Should we have gone to Indianapolis this year, Dennis would work on that, and he'll work on our international convention promotional for next year in 2021 when we go to Salt Lake City. So how did I miss a year? I don't know. And then our Children Are Our Future district project, Governor Fran's district project for the district that she is working with Marian O'Higgins and Nancy Memmer. That is an appointed project or appointed committee that Fran has put together this year, but they will work on that district project to promote the youth organization and the work that we do to help people in their communities help out their the children, whatever toddlers and whatever age they are, and helping them get the resources they need in their communities. So those are our committees. There's one other committee that I didn't put on here, but the executive committee will be led by Fran this year as the governor of the district, and that is the committee that meets, works with the board to get their business done prior to the board meeting and bring things to the board itself. So how can committees help our lieutenant governors? One of the biggest things that they can do for us is to help you better understand the workings of the Kiwanis district. Those committees are there. We see them every year in our directory. We see them every year in our convention program. But I would bet that on average, not many of them get called to help. And I think it's really important for us as members of the board that we not only promote and talk about who they are and what they do, but if you're stuck in a bind or you need some help, you need to call on them. Those are members that have agreed to serve with Fran to help make the district a better area, a better organization, and they can help you with a lot of different things. It's just a matter of, as we like to say, a lot of times we never ask people to do that. They can provide collateral materials for you. They can make presentations at division council meetings. They can make presentations to club meetings. And I think the biggest thing is we just have to ask them to do that. I know that a lot of times our service leadership programs get asked to make a lot of those presentations. There may be requests for presentations on youth protection in those areas, but a lot of times, Barb Jen would be great presenters to come in and talk to us about, marketing and public relations. Nancy and Marion would be great to come in and talk about the district project. So understand that they're there, as well as our membership committee. Larry and his team are always willing to come sit down with a group of members, to sit down with a club or to sit down with the division council and just talk through some of the things that you think that, you may not put to paper, so to say, but help people think outside the box and help, as I always say, there are no walls in the boxes anymore. We've kind of broken them down with this pandemic, because we've all had to be creative and really think about ways to do things and make things better. So one of the things that we will do is help for division council meetings, and I've talked with Fran, is maybe we help set up some of those people to come division council meetings, and whether they're in public or they're, or I should say in person, or they're online, it's very easy for us to set them up to help make presentations to clubs, and talk about what they do. As well as if you have someone you think might be a great person to help on that committee, we can always use those volunteers. Service leadership programs, any one of the volunteers, the committees that we have here, anyone is willing, we're willing to take more help along the way. So we will go there. Anybody have any questions? I'm going to unmute everyone. Jen, I saw a hand.
No, that's me playing with my hair.
Okay, well, yeah, I get that.
I'll add one. It's not a committee, but it's a person that's in charge of. Terry Strickler is our Kiwanis person that coordinates with the Michigan State Police for the Law Enforcement Academy. So whether it's the district office, you can contact him. His name is in the directory also, regarding any candidates or requirements or things like that for Law Enforcement Academy.
Perfect. So the one thing that, I like to stress for everybody here is that there's a lot of help out there. It's sometimes, because you can truly feel like you're in over your head on anything we do. And some days I know that feeling. But there's a lot of help out there. And a lot of times it's just saying to someone, hey, will you help me out? What can you do to help me? How can you help me? Can you recommend someone? I know if I can't do it, I'm happy to recommend someone else and get someone else to work with us along the way. And as I see Scott just popped up on my screen, Scott Greenlee serves with the president of Kiwanis International, works with our international office on JCI partnerships. So there's another individual there that can help you make presentations or talk about the relationships that we have with that. So you'll notice that we're pretty diverse in what we do and the contacts that we have all over the world. So if there's anything you need help with, please feel free to reach out to any one of those individuals. So any other questions or comments about that?
I have one.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Greg.
No, I was just going to say, if you know of somebody you think might be remotely interested, this is a great opportunity to promote leadership and really bring somebody along that you maybe think has a real leadership future with Kiwanis. It's a step they can take, and there's enough guidance along the way, and just consider whether in this case they don't have to have a specific position already done in Kiwanis. They don't have to be a particular club president or secretary in order to be one of these positions, but I'll give you a personal example. I was the Kiwanis advisor to the Key Club at my home school. I'd been there about 2 or 3 years, and when I was asked to be the Key Club administrator, that particular change really changed the whole way I viewed Kiwanis. And then really, I would not be talking to you today if that wasn't that position. Somebody gave me that opportunity to step outside of the club and really see what Kiwanis is all about, and to it helped make a difference in other people's lives, but it made a huge difference in my life too. So please consider helping other people in that way.
My 2 cents is I did bring in some of these committees the years I was lieutenant governor, and one of my members walks up to me and goes, I've been in Kiwanis for 25 years, and I had no idea that the Kiwanis International, now the Children's Fund, gave away grants. And so they, I think, went and looked for applying for one. But, Dick Hitch was the chair at the time, and had no problems coming up at 7 p.m. to Flint from Jackson, and so that they're all there. And I highly encourage you, bring them out, because I said we were having a guest speaker, and I think most of my clubs sent somebody that time, so we had great attendance.
And even for our friends up north, we like to travel up there. So I know I have friends up in Alpena, and there's a lot of people up there that we could, hey, Gaylord, Grayling, Charlevoix, you name it, we'll come visit. Traverse City, we'll be up there. Although you probably don't want us yet, so we'll wait. You probably want us to wait. Couple quick announcements to make. The Lieutenant Governor manuals are being printed and will be shipped. They are going to be shipped to my house. So once I get them all, I will make sure that I put them all in the mail to each one of you. I'm just waiting there. Meredith Taylor, who is our contact at Kiwanis International, was going to go in the office, and we actually print those in-house. So she was going to do that. And once they ship them all here, I'll make sure that you all get a copy of the Lieutenant Governor's Manual, which is currently online in our Dropbox, but we can do that as well. So those will come as soon as I get them. I'll let you know that they're coming, and I'll just ship them right from my house to you so that you have them. I'm going to save the Kathy message video for the end. Want to remind you that we have Don't Freak Out in the Checkout, Coping with Coronavirus tomorrow night with Laura Liestis out of the Counseling Institute of Texas. Will come and talk to us about it's okay to be okay. It's okay to feel what we're doing right now. And she'll be, talking about coping through the pandemic that we're going through in many, many different ways. The 2 weeks after that, May 14th and May 21st, the Michigan District is hosting Vice President candidate sessions on Thursday the 14th and the trustee sessions on Thursday the 21st. And I can tell you that it's getting some speed because I'm watching the number of people register go up on a daily basis. And there's a lot of interest in talking and listening to who our candidates are, both for vice president and trustee. And that, I think, will be some great opportunities for us to learn about those individuals. If you have any questions you would like us to ask those people, please send them my way. We're working on setting up the questioning system and how we're going to ask the same question to everybody by working those things out. So I encourage you, if you get a chance to sign up, we will be Facebook Living that as well. So if you don't want to sign up through the system, you can. It'll be on Facebook. But I believe we'll have some pretty good attendance. And I actually just saw an email come through from a candidate.
Hey, Stu?
Online, yes.
Is there a possibility that could be maxed out as far as the number of people that could get on there?
The max on the webinar is 500 people, but if I put it on Facebook, that opens up to thousands.
Okay.
So we'll show it just like we did the Operation Cupcake one last week. We'll show it at the same time on Facebook. So those that are on the
you don't have to worry about it. We can keep promoting it as long as we want.
Absolutely. Keep promoting it as long as we can. And I think what's important for us to talk about is the fact that this is coming from the Michigan District. And that's what, I want to make sure people realize that we get a lot of credit and a lot of kudos for being the first district of Kiwanis. And I've always felt that as a district, being the first district, that we need to help promote things like this. If anybody should ask you, I run this all through Kiwanis International, through their marketing department, all the leaders, and they're all good with it. So there's no concerns about us hosting this event at that point. So, and then finally on Sunday, Ron Hagan will be with us to talk about the Kiwanis of Michigan Foundation, and we will, he'll bring us up to date on what's going with the foundation and any projects that they're working on to move forward. So with that, I'm going to ask Fran if she has any last comments, if there are any other questions.
Well, the last comment, I guess, would be that Lieutenant Governors get to know your district chairs. Hopefully, you'll get to meet them at a district meeting or at conventions, but get to know them and get to talk with them about what they can help you with. And that's it.
Okay. Greg?
Greg ran away.
No, my comment was going to be, as you talk to them, invite them on some of these Wednesday and Sunday night deals, because a lot of them came to them in terms of learning about what your role is and how they can fit in and how you as a team can build a stronger division.
they do receive our weekly newsletter that I put out, that comes through MailChimp, and we're still working on some, I don't know, we're still got some bugs in the system to get a few people the message, but we're working on it. So please, they get the same information you do, and I will put another plug in it to have them invite us, or to invite them to join us along the way. So the last thing I thought we would do, if there are no further
I
questions.
have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
Carol, do I have, you can go ahead and laugh. Do I have to register for each one of the Thursday Let's Talks?
You do not. The way this,
Okay, because I keep sending them to you, but I don't want to overload you. Okay.
no,
thank
once you register, you're registered for all of them. You
Thank
just
you.
have to use, the thing you have to remember is that you have to use the same password and room ID for the whole time, because it doesn't change from.
And I figured out how to unblock it and print that. So,
Yeah,
so it took me a while.
that's
So-
okay. We're all learning, so.
And Rosemary helped me learn something tonight. So that's good. So,
Perfect.
yeah.
So I would like to have everybody unblock themselves, unmute themselves. We all know that Kathy Alexander is retiring after 35 years with the Kiwanis District Office. I'm going to take a screenshot to begin with. Everybody smile at the camera. We'll send her this note, and then what I'd like us all to do is just to say congratulations, Kathy. Good luck in your retirement, and we'll send this to her as a I'll give it to
Larry and John.
Pardon?
Larry and John need to unmute themselves.
Larry and John need to unmute themselves.
Yeah.
So we'll say congratulations, Kathy, on your retirement. Thank you for your service. How's that?
Okay.
Ready? And we can do it more than once. 1, 2, 3.
Congratulations.
Kathy.
Kathy.
Thank you.
Your service.
Thank you, Kathy. We appreciate all you've done. Enjoy your retirement. That was perfect. That's what you would expect from us, right?
Outstanding.
Outstanding. All right. Applause for Kathy. Woo! Okay, with that, it is 8. Wow, look at that, 8:57.
3 minutes early. Well done.
I'm going to give you 3 minutes back so that I can take a break before my 9 o'clock. All right, thanks everybody. We'll see you on Sunday.
Everyone.
You guys.
Bye-bye.
Bye.